You are listening to Theoretical Insights of D&D.
Lord, give me a fireball!
Screw how hot your skin is, my bars are hotter. Let me tell you what this is. Let me tell you, you listeners, if you don't know what the zombie has packing in his decaying flesh. You shut up, Cancer Bones. You gonna be a zombie if that cancer doesn't get cured.
Hey guys, I'm Rob.
And I'm Eric.
Welcome back to Theoretical Insights of D&D. We're doing things a little bit differently this go around. This weekend is a little bit busy for all of us. So we are doing a online recording. Yeah. So Eric is not here to maintain eye contact with me, and it feels a little bit awkward.
I have a webcam. Thank you very much.
Oh, I see that. I see you. You
yes,
see me.
I
they
see
do
you.
not. Yeah, these
Thank
guys
goodness.
do not. Today, we are covering our top monsters for CR5. And we are coming again with another celebrity list. We have at number
CR
one.
list without celebrities.
Do what?
It wouldn't be a CR list without celebrities.
No, that's our ranking system, dude. We started it at at our first episode. We're going to keep it till we're done. Number one.
It's a different list every time.
Exactly.
And it gets harder and harder.
Yeah, because we don't want to just keep repeating. Number one, the lowest on the list, ranking 1 through 10 for the cool factor. Number one, Danny Masterson. For reasons that pretty much people should know about that we won't get into.
Yeah, it's pretty high profile.
Number two, Oprah. Number three, Amber Heard. How dare you? And number four, Hailey Bieber. Number five, Topher Grace, bringing up the middle of the pack. Number six, John Cena, only because we can't see him. Number seven, Billy Mays, rest in peace, one of the greatest television salesmen to ever live.
Many nights sleeping in bed with the TV on and him pop up at like 1 o'clock midnight trying to sell me something.
And number eight, one who has kind of taken Billy Mays' place as the thicker salesman who has a lot of excitement about the product is Phil Swift.
Yes, he does.
Number nine, Robert Downey Jr. And you're thinking, who in the world could possibly be cooler than Robert Downey Jr.? Well, that would be Deadpool himself. Not Deadpool. See, this is what happens whenever I'm sitting here thinking that should be Ryan Reynolds, and then you're like, no, we should do the thing from
we will have Ryan Reynolds on the list when.
Yeah, he'll be in number 10. But now
he'll definitely be number 10.
This week it is Sven, and I'm probably going to massacre his name, Sven Vincke. That is the head guy at Larian Studios who has brought us the absolute fantastic game of Baldur's Gate 3, and before that, Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yes. Game of the year for Baldur's Gate 3, definitely.
Absolutely. If it goes to Starfield, we riot.
If I was younger, I would ride for that, but I'm too old for that now.
Yeah, we're both 30 and up now. We go to bed at 10 o'clock and hope for the best.
Shoot, I still go to bed at midnight, get up at 6 with the kids.
Oof.
Yeah, it's rough.
But we're going to kick this list off first with the Aboleth Spawn. Now, the Aboleth Spawn is a pretty interesting looking creature as it's got 4 tentacles that it walks around on, but it still has the 2 hands of like a humanoid.
It's pretty creepy.
It's very creepy. It's what I would figure that I would run into in Dead Space.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I could see this thing being in a Dead Space game. So, in armor class of 14, 93 health, or you can take the 11d8 plus 44, a max health of 132, 30-foot movement speed, and a 30-foot swim speed. It's got a passive perception of +4 with psychic damage resistance. That's probably going to be a theme as we start getting up into the higher ranking aberration monsters. Is immune to Charmed and Frightened, 120 feet of dark vision, and a passive perception of 14. So it's not going to be completely impossible to sneak around if you have to.
Yeah.
If you want to avoid this guy, you can. But there's always the possibility of that one person being in heavy armor looking at you, Eric, who can't roll above a 5.
Hey, in our Real 20 game, I do not have disadvantage on stealth checks anymore.
For now. Knows common deep speech and has telepathy of up to 60 feet. Now, it's got abolithic vessel. The spawn must obey its aboleth master. It's its own creature, but it's not its own entity, in other words.
I wonder what CR the Aboleth Master is.
Yeah, you go ahead and look that up. It's always also amphibious, meaning it can use both of its hands at the same time. I'll leave that pause there for the fact that people are going to think I'm an idiot when it actually means it can breathe on both air, breathe both air and in water. And it's got water dependency. The spawn takes 1d12 acid damage every 10 minutes it goes without being immersed in water. So this is for something like an underwater campaign where a spaceship has landed.
Yeah.
It does have a multi-attack option. We're going to be seeing this a lot more often as we go up in the CR list, just to where they can keep up with the damage that the party's going to be putting out. It takes 1 attack with a spear, 2 tentacle attacks, and 1 psychic lash attack. It's got 4 attacks per action. So the spear is a +7 to hit, 5-foot range, or you can throw it 20 feet without disadvantage, or up to 60 feet with disadvantage. It's 1d6 +4 on a hit, or 1d8 +4 when used with both hands. The tentacle is a +7, a reach of 10 feet. The target is grappled. And the escape DC is 14. And it takes 2d8 psychic damage at the start of each of its turns until the grapple ends. The spawn has 4 tentacles, each of which can grapple 1 creature. It could grapple half the party.
Yeah.
In one, well, if you only have 4, if you only have 4 characters at the party, it could grapple half the party in 1 round. Because it makes 2 tentacle attacks. And the psychic lash, +7 to hit, 120-foot range, 4d8 psychic damage. So realistically, think about this. If it's using the spear two-handed, right? It's using a spear two-handed, that's 1d8 +4. And 2d8 psychic, possibly twice. So that's 5d8. Go ahead and throw another 4 on top of that. That's 9d8 damage in 1 round if everything hits and goes well.
Yeah, that's going to hurt.
Oh, it's not just going to hurt. That's going to be ridiculous.
It's going to hurt.
That's potentially, what is it? 89 points of damage? No, 87 points of damage.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to hurt.
That's rough.
But remember, this thing has to be with its master. Or doesn't have to be with it, but it's controlled by its master.
Well, it's controlled by its master, and if you can get it out of water, it's going to be taking 1d12 acid damage every round.
Yeah, but it's going to be hard to get it out of the water unless you like got it speared and dragging it out of the water or something
Or
like
if you
that.
have a bag of holding, you go to the bottom of Lake Michigan.
Oh, here we go. Give it a water weird as a friend.
Yeah. And carry him around in a bucket.
Okay, here's its master. Is a challenge rating 16.
Oh, we're going to be covering that guy eventually.
Yeah. Definitely.
Here's the biggest question is that obviously this is something that you're not going to be fighting by itself. This is going to be like a hive mind thing. So it's just one of those things to where you're not going to run into one completely alone.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Hellhound.
It kind of, the challenge rating 5 kind of throws that off because with the challenge rating being that low, you'd think, oh, party of, I don't know, 4 or 5, level 7 or 8, no problem. But it's going to be with its master.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't have to be with its master. It just has to obey it.
Well, if it's not with its master, they can't really do nothing.
Well, it's one of those things to where it's given an order, like a soldier.
Oh, okay, yeah, I understand that different.
So
I was thinking more like a ranger's pet or something.
Yeah. It's not like that. It's more like a soldier. You think of the Aboleth. What is it? not the spawn, Aboleth Master. Is that
Yeah.
what it's called?
Well, it's a
Aboleth
Veiled
is-
Master.
Do what?
When I pulled it up on Google, it come up Veiled Master.
Veiled Master. Okay. That that is pretty much the general of an army, and he's sending out his soldiers to
Basically,
do
you can't
bidding and the
tell this
dirty
thing
work.
to attack its owner. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Pretty much. So honestly, for me, it's not overly cool. However, with it being the first monster that we have actually covered where it's got more than 4 attacks,
Yeah.
and 3 of those attacks per action are doing specifically psychic damage, even though it doesn't have anything added to it after the fact, it's got to be at least a John Cena number 6.
I don't know. I'm gonna say that's a Phil Swift because that's a lot of damage.
I mean, okay. Yeah, it is a lot of damage for 1 round.
Yeah.
But
4
keep in
attacks.
mind, this is probably not going to be the highest 1 round damage potential that we cover in just this episode.
No, but it's probably gonna be the highest average damage because it's 4 attacks.
Yeah, and it's psychic. So even
Yeah.
if it was a barbarian of a bear totem barb, it's going to be taking the full damage from psychics.
Yeah.
So all right, I'll meet you in the middle and say it's a Billy Mays.
I could go there.
All right. Next up, we have the Banderhobb, and we have a lovely memory with the Banderhobb from the Grim Hollow game that we were playing in that Jeremiah ran there for a while.
It was kind of a short memory.
Well, it was a very short memory
because it was taken down quick.
Well, the whole reason is because he was running a new rule to where we could either do critical damage, or if we scored a natural 20, we could stun it or paralyze it for 1 round. We rolled 10 critical hits and kept it stunned, and everything after that was automatically critical hits.
Yeah. It was
So
great.
we would wait until the end of the round, and then luckily we got another critical hit, so we just stun it for another round.
And we was what, all level 4 at this time?
No, I think we were like level 3. It's one of the very first things we fought.
We might have been, yeah. But either way, it didn't get to do anything.
No, it literally did nothing.
No, I think it swallowed one of the sheep or cows we had. One of the animals
it
we
did
had.
swallow the sheep that we brought as bait.
And then it was stunned and paralyzed the rest of the fight.
Yeah. So it's a 15 armor class and 84 health, or you can do the 8d10 plus 40, give it a max health of 120, and a movement speed of 30 feet. And it's literally just a grotesque, giant-looking toad, pretty much.
It's a big frog. It's a battle toad.
Athletics plus 8 and a stealth of plus 7. This guy has a 20 strength and constitution.
Mm-hmm.
He's immune to charmed and frightened, has a dark vision of 120 feet and passive perception of 12, understands common in the languages of its creator, but can't speak. So you can actually talk to this thing. It just can't talk back. It's also got resonant connection. If the Banderhobb has even a tiny piece of a creature or an object in its possession, such as a lock of hair or a splinter of wood, it knows the most direct route to that creature or object if it is within 1 mile of the Banderhobb.
Okay, so it's a battle toad with a nose of a shepherd.
You mean a bloodhound?
Yeah, that too.
Nose of a shepherd. Where do you get these things from? A
It's
nose of a
just-
shepherd.
It's just stupid things I've heard from my years on this earth.
Well, it also has a multi-attack, makes 1 bite attack and 1 tongue attack. And it can replace 1 attack with the use of Shadow Step.
Hmm.
All right, so as the bite goes, it's plus 8 to hit. Good notification there.
Yeah, I forgot to turn the phone down.
I'm leaving it in because I'm too lazy to take it out. We're human. We're not professionals.
Not yet.
Plus 8 to hit on the bite. 5 foot reach, 3d6 plus 5 piercing. and the target is grappled with an escape DC of 16. If it's large or smaller, sorry. Until the grapple ends, the target is restrained, and the Banderhobb can't use its bite attack or tongue attack on another target. So on the bright side, at least that bites it down, right?
Yeah.
Tongue attack, +8 to hit, 15-foot reach. 3d6 necrotic damage. And the target must make a DC 16 strength saving throw. On a failed save, the target is pulled to a space within 5 feet of the Banderhobb. It's part gecko.
I mean, it is a frog.
I mean, yeah. But necrotic damage. Necrotic damage from the tongue. Can you imagine how bad this breath smells? Like, seriously, you remember that SpongeBob episode where he ate a bunch of onions?
Oh, yeah.
He just like turned the whole bathroom green. That's the Banderhobb when he gets out of breath and is like.
Now, imagine you're walking through a swamp and all of a sudden your ranger gets snatched off to the side and bit by a giant frog.
You're sitting there minding your own business. The tongue comes flying out of nowhere and grabs the fighter by the ankle and he's gone.
It's ridiculous. Or it shadow steps and bites.
Yeah, the shadow step is next. The Banderhobb teleports up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space of dim light or darkness that it can see. There is no prerequisite of him being in dim light or darkness.
Yeah.
If he sees dim light and darkness, then he can teleport to it. Up
no
to 30
walking
feet
through
away.
the swamp at night.
No. He don't even have to walk through the swamp at night. It's just...
Yeah.
He's just teleporting all over the place. Here's where it gets a little spicy. Literally.
Yeah.
Swallow. +8 to hit, which, I think it should be made an advantage.
It probably should be.
One medium or smaller creature grappled by the Banderhobb. That's the target. And it's going to be by the bite.
So it should be advantage since it's grappled.
Yeah, I think it probably will be made with advantage. It's 3d6 +5 piercing damage, and the creature is also swallowed, and the grapple ends. I mean, kind of, sort of, but technically it doesn't because you're being constricted by throat muscles now.
Mm-hmm.
The swallowed creature is blinded and restrained. The grapple ends, and now you are restrained.
Yep.
It has total cover against attacks and other effects outside of the Banderhobb, and it takes 3d6 necrotic damage at the start of each of the Banderhobb's turns. A creature reduced to 0 hit points in this way stops taking the necrotic damage and becomes stable. The Banderhobb can only have one creature swallowed at a time. While the Banderhobb isn't incapacitated, it can regurgitate the creature at any time, no action required, in a space within 5 feet of it. The creature exits prone. If the Banderhobb dies, it likewise regurgitates a swallowed creature. So it bites. It's like, okay, yeah, this guy's pretty small. Swallow.
Yeah.
It is one of the nom 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 nom.
Yeah, it literally goes nom nom nom.
It licks his fingers afterwards.
That was a spicy meatball. Imagine if a fighter made the rolls to attack from the inside of this thing and cut himself out.
I don't know if you could because you are restrained. You're also blinded.
There's got to be a way.
Nah, I think there is, but
or a druid wild shaping into something in a larger size.
I mean, maybe. You never know. Where does the Banderhobb belong on our list?
With fond memories, and it's a pretty cool monster. It's just such a shame we didn't get to fight it the way we should. The fight was so short. It'd have been a lot cooler. I'd probably have to go to
let's be kind of glad we didn't really get to fight it. because this thing probably would have kicked the crap out of us.
Exactly. It's a Robert Downey Jr., I'd say.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree. It's a Robert Downey Jr. It's on up there. It's cool as can possibly be. It's not as cool as some others we may cover here in a little bit, but
No,
it
but
is
it is
really
cool.
cool. The next up is the Barbed Devil. Now, the Barbed Devil, stemming off of what was the Bearded Devil from the last CR list, is pretty much just like a big brother to that, except instead of having a bunch of snakes or tentacles or like scorpion tails for a beard, it's a walking cactus devil.
It's a devil porcupine.
Yeah, that is the perfect. It is a devil porcupine. So watch your dogs. The 15 armor class, 110 health, or 13 d8 plus 52. And I've had a long day at work. I'm not going to try to do that math right now. I take it back. It's 154 health.
That's a lot of health.
Yeah. Strength saving throw is +6, +7 to con, +5 to wisdom, and +5 to charisma. So this guy's actually going to be a contender for the party for their magical spell effects, unlike the Banderhobb and the Aboleth Spawn. Has a deception of +5, an insight of +5, and a perception of +8. So it's going to be really hard to sneak by this guy.
Yep.
It is resistant to cold, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks that aren't silvered. Immune to fire and poison. Immune to being poisoned. Has a dark vision of 120 feet and a passive perception of 18. Once again, it's a lot harder to sneak past this guy.
Yeah.
And it knows Infernal with a telepathy of 120 feet. Now, Barbed Hide. At the start of each of its turns, the Barbed Devil deals 1d10 piercing damage to any creature grappling it. Don't exactly know why you would look at a walking pincushion and be like, hugs, you know? But
if not friend, why friend shaped?
is this friend shaped?
There
what
would
are you
be
telling?
There would be somebody take this home and put a bow on it and call it Charlie.
You remember that moat I said I was going to build? It's getting closer to being built. Also has Devil Sight, so magical darkness does not impede the devil's dark vision. Also has magical resistance. The devil has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects, which is just exactly what it needs because it's a pincushion.
Mm-hmm.
The claw is a +6 to hit. Oh, sorry. I've completely skipped over multi-attack. So it does have multi-attack where the devil makes 3 melee attacks, 1 with its tail and 2 with its claws. Alternatively, it can use Hurl Flame twice. So the claw is +6 to hit with a 5-foot reach, 1d6 +3 piercing damage. Pretty much a short sword. The tail is a +6 to hit, 5-foot reach, 2d6 +3 piercing damage. A great sword.
Yep.
And Hurl Flame, +5 to hit, 150-foot range. This dude has Bo Jackson's arm when he was playing the outfield. An absolute cannon.
Literal
Launch
cannon.
an absolute piss missile with that thing, okay?
Yeah.
200-mile-an-hour fastball. 3d6 fire damage. If the target is a flammable object that isn't being worn or carried, it also catches fire. So this guy's doing 5d6 plus 9 each round, or of course this is all if it hits. 5d6 plus 9 each round, or if he's at a range, he does 6d6.
Yep.
That's rough. That's a lot of damage for something that's so resistant, because this is something that the Banderhobb and Aboleth did not have.
They didn't have all the resistances.
Well, they had some resistances, but
not.
This guy has saving throws.
Yeah,
where they didn't really.
Plus, you got to have silvered weapons to do full damage.
Yeah. So it's going to be a lot harder to take this guy out.
And he's got an average 110 health.
Yeah, which is already right at 20 to 25 above both of them because I think the Aboleth was at 93 and the Banderhobb was 85.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the Barb Devil isn't as cool as the Banderhobb.
No, it definitely
It's just
wouldn't be cool
more
to fight.
deadly.
It is more
It's
deadly.
just much more deadly. And because of that, I think it's just a Topher Grace. It's just the middle of the pack. There's nothing really special about it except for the hurl flame.
You know what?
Now, if you're going into using it against the party, then out of the three we've covered, it's a definite Sven Vinke.
Yeah.
It's the number 10. It's cool. Out of those three, it's the absolute coolest. But looking at what we've got left to cover, it's a number 5.
I would go with John Cena because I don't want to see it.
I mean, if I were to run into one of these on the street, I would definitely walk over to the other side.
Just casually cross the street.
Just tip my hat, keep going.
How they there, porcupine?
Yeah, I would say that realistically, this guy is only a 5 or 6.
Yeah, it ain't, it's a definite middle of the road.
Now we're on to the Beholder Zombie. Now I'm going to show you a picture of what comes up on my phone when I show you a Beholder Zombie, and you tell me if it's the same thing you see.
No, that's not what I see.
No. See, this is what kind of got me excited. I thought it was going to be a miniature Beholder. No, it's a straight up zombie that apparently is under. No, it is an actual Beholder.
Yeah, it's a beholder that's zombified.
This app has lied to me.
That's why I use my laptop.
I can't use my laptop right now.
Get good,
So-
pleb.
What? Pleb. 15 AC with 93 health, or you can take the max of 11d10 plus 33 for a zombie to put it at 144 health. No, sorry, 143 health. Plus 2 to wisdom saving throws, immune to poison, immune to poisoned, and prone. It's immune to prone. Has a dark vision of 60 feet and a passive perception of 9. You can get by this thing, but it's got a lot of chances to see you. Understands deep speech and undercommon, but cannot speak. Also, surprise, surprise, Cancer Bones, it has undead fortitude.
Of course it does.
One of the most annoying abilities that we've ever faced in this game. Well, maybe one of the most
When
annoying.
you're fighting against it, yes.
Yes. Or even when you're running it, it's kind of annoying to just be like, okay, this one zombie
Well, you just die
has
already.
been up for 15 rounds because they can't do any more than like 5 damage to it. They're just rolling badly. So it's got a bite attack, which is
Mhm.
plus 3 to hit, reach of 5 feet for 4d6 piercing damage for 1 bite.
Yeah.
Or the zombie uses a random magical eye ray, choosing a target that they can see within 60 feet of it. And there are a lot of different options. There's a paralyzing ray, fear ray, innervation ray, disintegration ray.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can kind of figure out what those rays do. I'll give you a quick little breakdown of each one. Paralyzing ray, a DC 14 con save will be paralyzed for 1 minute, and you can repeat that saving throw at the end of each of your turns. The fear ray, a DC 14 wisdom saving throw, or be frightened for 1 minute. Once again, make it at the end of your turns to end it. Innervation ray, DC 14 constitution saving throw, or it takes 8d8 necrotic damage, or half
That's
as much
nothing.
on a successful save.
That's nothing.
That's 8d8.
Oh, just read the disintegration ray.
Oh, I know. It's 10d8 force. It's 10d8 force damage. And if
Yeah.
this damage reduces the creature to 0 hit points, it becomes a pile of fine gray dust. Why does this CR5 have a disintegration ray?
Because it's a beholder.
I don't care. It's dead. There is absolutely no sense in a CR5 having something to do with disintegration. Now, it's an absolutely
It's technically
wonderful
undead.
spell.
Thank you very much.
Okay, hold up. Wait a minute. That's not the issue here. It does not matter whether it's dead, undead, alive, or a freaking unicorn from My Little Pony. It's a disintegration ray that's automatically doing. By the time, okay, what level party usually fights a lone single CR5 monster of 4 adventurers? We'll just say 4.
4 adventures. I don't know, 5 or 6.
Yeah, 5th or 6th level. Okay, you show me one class who would have we're going to have to base it off max damage, right? We have to base it off of that, because if we base it off the minimum amount of damage, then it's already 8. It's only 8. Or we can take the standard of 45.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just take the great, the straight average damage of 45 from 10d8 force damage. Okay.
Mm-hmm. A rogue.
You show me one class that at 5th or 6th level, that is not their entirety of health or more than half.
A rogue, because it's dex based. They can was it?
That's not the question.
No, but they can, even if they fail, they only take half damage.
Okay, even if you were using the average the average damage, that's still 22 damage.
Yeah, rogue could live that.
The wizard can't. Neither can the sorcerer.
The wizard can't live anything.
I mean, you got a point, but even still, if you rolled this and you rolled a 56 damage, we'll just leave the potential for 80 damage out of it. You roll 56 damage from this, and the 6th level fighter fails.
Oh, he did.
Well, maybe, because he could possibly have 60 plus health at 6th level.
Maybe.
But if he's been hit by a single bite and it rolled 18 and then it rolls 56 damage on this and he fails his dexterity saving throw because he's in plate armor after looting a really, really good item, guess what? The 4 months you spent playing this guy to get level 6 and all this looting you've done to get your plate armor and your magical great sword and your ring of warmth and all that stuff, you disintegrate into a pile of dust.
Yes.
And they sweep you up after the fight and put you in the bag of holding with the rest of Lake Michigan.
But remember, it only has 1 attack per turn.
Well, yeah, that's the one thing it's got. Like the true beholder being able to launch multiple rays in one turn is much scarier than this. But
even if you did take a disintegration ray as a fighter, you could get healed up in between turns.
Yeah, here's the thing. You have to be very careful as a DM because this could turn into a TPK if you're not careful. Oh God,
yes.
Because if you're targeting the cleric with a disintegration ray, and for some weird reason you roll max damage and they fail that dexterity saving throw, there is no cleric in the world at 6th level, no matter how you build them or multiclass them, that's going to have 80 health. And they will instantly die.
I'm sure his holy dust could be used for spell components.
Oh no. I can hear the rogue now. Oh man. I can hear the rogue now.
I'm going to sneak into this place and I'm going to steal the crown jewels. Give me the cleric dust. I need some holy dustings.
The bard starts calling it pixie dust and starts selling it on a street corner.
Magical pixie dust.
Puts you in better contact with your deity. You hear their voice today. You just cast thaumaturgy. And you hear somebody saying like, "Hello, governor." That's not what Tyr sounds like. Oh, Tyr starts talking to a voice that sounds like Pee Wee Herman. because the bard has no idea.
Yeah.
Oh no. This thing is cool. It is very cool. The artwork on my phone is a lie, but I
Oh,
remember what
I
the
sent you a message with the actual artwork.
I remember what the actual artwork does look like. And it is terrifying.
Oh yeah.
It is absolutely terrifying.
With
And
that one big glazed over white eye. Oh, it's terrifying.
and because of that, specifically because of the different rays that it has available to it at this level, it is a Sven Vinke.
Oh yeah, it is.
It is
Definitely.
a number 10. It is the coolest so far. Possibly the coolest we're going to cover for at least a little bit.
Yeah, I would think so.
Because next is the Bone Knight. Now, the Bone Knight is one of those enemies that Eric has had to face a couple of times in the Grim Hollow game.
I actually whooped his tail. Thank you very much.
That's
and took his armor.
Yeah, you had absolutely no help from Ford and his 2D10 hunting rifle throughout that entire fight.
I didn't say you didn't help.
You just didn't get hit because your AC was like 21.
Exactly.
The Bone Knight is it's a medium humanoid of any race, but it's technically an undead. No, it's not an undead. It's just wearing Bonecraft armor.
Yeah.
It's whatever you want to be. It's an armor class of 20. 84 health with a speed of 30. Has a +5 to wisdom saving throws and a +6 to charisma. It is +7 to athletics, 6 to deception, and 6 to intimidation. It makes sense that intimidation would be high because if somebody walks up to me looking like that, I would be slightly intimidated.
Yeah.
Just a little.
I would be like, yes, sir, Skeletor.
Wish.com Skeletor.
Yes.
Has a resistance to necrotic and poison, passive perception of 12, and has any one language, usually common because it's a humanoid. Commander of Bones. As a bonus action, the knight can target one skeleton or zombie it can see within 30 feet of it. The target must make a DC Wisdom 14 saving throw. On a failed save, the target must obey the knight's commands until the knight dies or until the knight releases it as a bonus action. The knight can command up to 12 undead at a time this way.
Yeah, he is an undead commander.
Now, skeletons don't have that much health.
No,
they
but
really
when you
don't
get
do that
12
much damage. When you get 12 of them being commanded by one of these guys, it becomes a problem. Master of the Pallid Banner. While within 60 feet of the knight, any undead ally of the knight has advantage on saving throws against any effect that turns undead.
Yep.
So that's a counter. That's a counter to the cleric's turn undead, which is nice to see. It also has spellcasting. It is an 8th level spellcaster. Spellcasting ability is charisma. Save DC of 14 and a +6 to hit with spell attacks. And it has the following paladin spells prepared. First level with 4 slots: Command, Compelled Duel, Hellish Rebuke, and Wrathful Smite. Second level with 3 slots: Branding Smite, Crown of Madness, Darkness, Fine Steed, and Magic Weapon.
This is essentially an Oathbreaker.
Yeah, kind of, because it's using a great sword. Now, a second level Branding Smite. That is how many D6 of radiant damage?
See.
Or is it D8s? Because Branding Smite's the one that
second level is, that'd be 2d6.
2d6 radiant damage, and it keeps you from
can't
turning
be
invisible.
Yeah.
So that could shut down the sorcerer, the wizard, anybody that can become invisible. And it's 2d6 more on top of the 2d6 from his greatsword.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, he attacks twice with one of his weapons. Is a +7 to hit with the greatsword and a 5-foot reach, 2d6 +4 slashing damage. Or the longbow, +4 to hit, 150 feet or up to 600 with disadvantage, 1d8 +1 piercing.
This is essentially my paladin playthrough on Baldur's Gate 3.
I mean, Kind of technically. Because I'm sitting there playing a warlock right beside that. No, that was the
No.
other one.
This is my solo playthrough.
I
Your
forgot you
warlock
swapped
plays
over
with
to a
my
ranger.
my ranger rogue.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing way too much damage in that playthrough. I don't know what happened.
I don't know, but it's a lot of damage.
Overall, from the aesthetic of this guy and that armor, and the fact that he's a lower level paladin. So I'd say what, second level spells, 2 attacks per action, at least a 6th or 7th level paladin.
Yeah. On par with the party.
Yeah, this is on par with the party, except for the fact he could have up to 12 skeletons or zombies walking around with him.
I mean, he's going to be facing you alone. Why not have friends?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a conversation that I heard on Critical Role about. Matt Mercer said something about the creature's going to use one of its legendary resistances, and somebody said, it's got legendary resistances? And he said, yeah, there's only one of it, and there's 6 of you.
Yeah.
It's only fair.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
So, if I was going to put this guy up against the party by itself, I would probably give it a legend, like 2 or 3 legendary resistances.
But in a cave full of skeletons like we fought it,
yeah,
it was a good fight.
Overall, this thing is a Billy Mays. It's above average, but it's not quite a Banderhobb.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see
you group it in with the 12, then it's a Robert Downey Jr. By itself, it's just a Billy Mays.
Yeah, by itself.
But with the 12 undead, Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. Because that was a good fight.
Next on the list is one of the most annoying creatures you run into in the Underdark. Not the most, because that would be the Hook Horrors.
Yeah.
One of the most annoying creatures, and that would be the Bulette. Or the Boulette, however it's pronounced.
Mm-hmm.
It's AC of 17 with 94 health, or you can take the max of 90, 10 plus 45 for 135. Movement speed of 40 with a burrow speed of 40 feet. Plus 6 to perception with a dark vision of 60 feet and a tremor sense of 60 feet, which makes perfect sense at the fact that it's constantly burrowing underground. Also has a passive perception of 16, so it's going to be a lot harder to sneak around with this guy moving underneath the ground. Also has standing leap. And this is a little bit different than what happens in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Because of it exiting the ground. There's nothing on this stat block before it to exit the ground and do what it does in the game. But I'm glad they added it for flavor in the actual release. The Bulette's long jump is up to 30 feet, and its high jump is up to 15 feet with or without a running start. So whether it's moving or not, it's not going to be jumping any higher or further. And it's also got the actions are bite, plus 7 to hit, 5 foot reach, 4d12 plus 4.
Yeah, lots of damage.
That's the same damage as a T-Rex.
Yeah.
Of 4d12. I think the T-Rex is plus like 5 or 6. Its strength is higher than a 19, I'm sure. But it's still 4d12 plus 4. The average is 30. So this dude's going to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And Deadly Leap. If the Bulette jumps at least 15 feet as part of its movement, it can then use its action to land on its feet in a space that contains one or more other creatures. Each of those creatures must succeed on a DC 16 strength or dexterity saving throw, the target's choice, or be knocked prone and take 3d6 bludgeoning damage plus 4, plus 3d6 plus 4 slashing damage. On a successful save, the creature takes only half damage, is not knocked prone, and is pushed 5 feet out of the Bulette's space into an unoccupied space of the creature's choice. If no unoccupied space is within range, the creature instead falls prone in the Bulette space. So, 6d6 plus 8.
Yeah.
So, arguably nearly a fireball.
Yeah,
because
close.
With the plus 8, it's almost another fireball.
Yeah.
It's just with max damage, 4 damage short.
It's gonna
from being
hurt.
able to do that.
It's gonna hurt a lot with either attack.
See, here's my issue with it though. The Bulette is cool, but it's not overly cool.
Well, let me help you with that. I was thinking armored mole is what I was thinking at first, but in the info, it's called a land shark.
Okay, that makes it a lot cooler.
That makes it a lot cooler.
Yeah, that makes it a lot cooler. I was going to give it a number 4, but I'm going to bump it up to a Topher Grace at number 5.
Yeah,
There's just outside of the Deadly Leap and the fact that it burrows the way that it does, there's really nothing special about it. Now, if we want to rank the Baldur's Gate 3 model of the Bulette, it's a 7. But the D&D 5e, and of course you can work in the Baldur's Gate mechanics as well into the
Yeah.
D&D 5e game for tabletop. I think that would make it more interesting and a lot more fun to fight. But as it reads from the stat block, it's just the number 5.
yeah.
It's not overly special, but it's not boring either.
It's another one of those you put it in there to get something done, and it's gonna get it done.
What saved it was the Deadly Leap.
Yeah.
That's what really saved it. You want to take this next one, sir?
Which one is that one?
That would be the Cambion.
Oh yeah. It's another devil. Well, it's a fiend, but looks like a devil. Armor class of 19, and it's got scale mail. Hit points 82 or 11d8 plus 33. Speed 30 foot, fly of 60 foot. Strength of 18, dex of 18, con of 16, intellect of 14, 12 wisdom, and 16 charisma. It's got several saving throws: strength plus 7, con plus 6, intellect plus 5, and charisma plus 6. So it's gonna save a lot of things. Unless you start throwing wisdom stuff at it. Skills: deception plus 6, intimidation plus 6, perception plus 4, and stealth plus 7. It's got resistant to cold, fire, lightning, poison, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. It's got dark vision up to 60 foot and a passive perception of 14. It knows abyssal, common, and infernal. Pretty good. Let's see.
I mean, we're off to a strong start already
It
with
is.
the fact
It
that it's got
is.
all of that going for it.
All its saving throws and resistances. Yeah, that's. It doesn't have the most health though. At 82.
Well, that's why it's got the resistances to cold, fire, and lightning, because that's going to be taking out the wizard's cone of cold, lightning bolt, and fireball.
It's
The
another
only thing
one of
that's going
those
to have
barb
left
devils.
is any kind of poison damage. So like Melf's acid arrow,
Mhm.
poison spray, cloud kill, but I think that's pretty high level spell.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, it's gonna save on a lot of stuff. So most of it's gonna be half damage, and you might not have a lot of magical weapons by this point. So even from your
Well, by the time you're going down into the 9 hells to start fighting devils, you better.
it's according if somebody
It's just
summoned
one of
it
those
up.
things.
Somebody could have
It's got
summoned it.
Fiendish Blessing on the AC. That is crazy.
Yeah,
It includes its charisma bonus. Is there anything in D&D outside of this, like a player class that actually includes another stat into the armor class while you're wearing armor? I don't think there is, because the monk is off of dexterity and wisdom, and
Yeah.
the barbarian is off of dexterity and con.
I'm
I
thinking
don't
there's
think-
something in the warlock that would do it, or is that just attack damage or weapon damage?
I think it's just weapon damage off the blade or the hex blade, either way.
Paladin doesn't.
No, it doesn't, huh?
I guess this is about the only thing.
And it's got some really weak spells that it can cast. It can do plane shift, alter self command, and detect magic. And it can only do alter self command and detect magic 3 times a day, and plane shift once.
Yeah.
and it's only itself. So the innate spell casting outside of the plane shift to get itself out of danger is it's weak on that front. However, the Cambion does make 2 melee attacks using its fire ray. Oh, sorry, two melee attacks, or it uses its fire ray twice. So the spear, melee or ranged, +7 to hit. I like how it's +7 no matter what because it's got an 18 in strength and dexterity.
Yeah.
It's either a 5 foot or a range of 20 to 60 feet. Plus 1d6 plus 4 piercing damage, or 1d8 plus 4, and a d6 fire damage. Fire ray is a +7 to hit with a range of 120 feet, and it's 3d6 fire damage. So it can use its fire ray twice as that multi attack.
Yeah, we just fought a couple of these last
Yeah,
Friday.
because we just we did in our online game.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, they fire raid one of us.
And I was charmed by one of them.
We'll see what kind of set us in a rough point is the wizard coming up behind me and casting Cone of Cold, and I fail the con save
Oh yeah.
and take all but like 3 health of damage towards me. Fiendish Charm, since you brought it up, one humanoid the Cambion can see within 30 feet of it must succeed on a DC 14 Wisdom saving throw or be magically charmed for 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
It obeys the Cambion's spoken commands, and if the target suffers any harm from the Cambion or another creature or receives a suicidal command from the Cambion, the target can repeat the saving throw, ending the effect on itself on a success. If the saving throw is successful, or if the effect ends for it, the creature is immune to the Cambion's fiendish charm for the next 24 hours. And I think that's what happened is you wound up taking a little bit of damage, and you were able to take that.
Yeah.
You were able to remake that saving throw.
Yeah, the first one tried to charm me, and I saved on that one. The second one charmed me, and then we started to fight.
Yeah.
And then I eventually.
And then that Cone of Cold hit.
Yeah.
And that hurt. Overall, like, honestly, I prefer the, if I'm going to make a choice of which devil I prefer, as far as like Cambion or Barbed Devil, I prefer the Barbed Devil to the Cambion.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say the Barbed Devil.
It's just, the Cambion's what you expect to run into in the Nine Hells because that's like the stereotypical devil for D&D. The Barbed Devil's a little bit more special.
Looking at the info on it, it's the offspring of a fiend. It's usually a succubus or incubus and a humanoid.
That's nice.
So it could be in either the Nine Hells or out walking around Waterdeep.
That would be rough.
That would be rough.
I think realistically, it's only a John Cena.
Nah, I would go Tougher Grace.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right about that. It's really not that cool. It's just, being honest, it's really not that cool.
Yeah, it's there.
Next up, we have the Clockwork Oaken Bolter. This thing is kind of cool.
It is. It looks really cool.
It's like a large crossbow?
Medium construct.
So yeah, it's a medium construct. It's pretty much a dragon-headed ballista.
Yeah, it'd be a small ballista on wheels.
Yeah. So it's an AC of 16, 117 hit points, or you can take the 18d8 plus 36. I can't do math like that quick. 30 feet of movement. It'd be 180 health. Be a max of 180 health.
It's a mobile small ballista.
It's immune to poison because it's a construct.
Yeah.
It's immune to being charmed, exhausted, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, or poisoned. has a dark vision of 60 feet and a passive perception of 10, understands one language of its creator, but cannot speak,
Understandable.
has magic resistance, so it has advantage against spells,
Mm-hmm.
and unusual nature. The clockwork doesn't require air, food, drink, or sleep. I mean, that's kind of a given at this point,
Yeah.
unless you wanted to include it having an oil change every once in a while. It also has multi-attack, just like just about everything else on this list, except for the Beholder zombie. Makes 2 Lancing Bolt attacks, or 1 Lancing Bolt attack and 1 Harpoon attack. The Lancing Bolt is +7 to hit, 5-foot range, or a range of 100 to 400 feet. 2d10 plus 4 piercing damage. That's not bad damage.
No, especially since it gets 2 attacks.
No. And a +7 to hit on the Harpoon with a range of 50 to 200 feet, so pretty much just half the distance.
Mm-hmm.
1d10 plus 4 piercing damage, and the target is grappled with a DC escape of 12. While grappled this way, a creature's speed isn't reduced, but it can move only in the directions that bring it closer to the clockwork. A creature takes 1d10 slashing damage if it escapes from the grapple or if it tries and fails. The clockwork can grapple only one creature at a time with its harpoon.
So either way, you're
anytime-
taking 2d10 plus 4.
Yeah, you're taking 2d10 plus 4 on the hit with the bolt. You're taking 1d10 plus 4 for the harpoon, and then if you try to escape or try
If
to
you
and fail, you
escape
take
or-
110.
Yeah, if you escape or fail, you still take a d10.
Yeah. Now it's got an explosive bolt, and it's got a recharge of 5 or 6. The clockwork launches an explosive charge at a point within 120 feet. Each creature within a 20-foot radius sphere centered on the point must make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw, taking 5d6 fire damage on a failed save or half as much damage on a successful one.
It's a small fireball.
But once again, it is a small fireball.
This one actually has a bonus action
Yeah.
to reel in the creature that was grappled.
You know, as far as the constructs that we've covered so far, this is the coolest.
This is, yeah,
Like across the list, this is possibly the coolest construct that we've covered outside of the flying sword and Steve Buscemi.
yeah.
You know, I think it was the flying sword being wielded by a skeleton that was in the mouth of a wolf while
Oh, Lord, it was-
something else carried it in or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
but that was a whole scenario.
yeah, I think realistically on this list, I think it would fall at a number 6, John Cena. It's not, it's the coolest construct, but
it's not the
really going to
coolest
take,
creature.
yeah, it's really going to take some higher CRs to really get into the constructs that are going to be like really cool. You
Yeah.
know? So I think a John Cena would be a good place to put this guy.
Yeah, I could see a John Cena.
Next up, we have the Earth Elemental. Now, the elementals like Earth, Fire, Water, and Air were all available for this, but we chose 2 specifically because we prefer. No, we only did 1.
Yeah.
We technically prefer the Earth Elemental to the other 3. Now, why? Because we like the bigger meteor looking monsters or allies or elementals.
Plus,
For
we
it to
didn't need
be
a water
something on our
elemental. We
side.
already had the water weird.
Yeah, we already got the water wheel weird walking around being carried in a bucket. We don't need another. So the Earth Elemental, 17 AC, 126 health, with a 30-foot speed and a 30-foot burrow speed. Resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks, and immune to poison, but vulnerable to thunder.
Yeah.
It is immune to exhaustion, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, and unconscious, with a dark vision of 60 feet, a tremor sense of 60, and a perception of 10. And it only understands and speaks Terran. Earth Glide. The elemental can burrow through non-magical, unworked earth and stone. While doing so, the elemental doesn't disturb the material it moves through.
Mm.
And it's got Siege Monster to where it's going to be doing double damage to any buildings or
Yeah.
structures. It does make 2 slam attacks with its multi-attack, plus 8 to hit with a 10-foot reach, 2d8 plus 5 bludgeoning damage, so 4d8 plus 10. So just a little bit more than the bite from the Beholder Zombie.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
It's very simple. And I think that's part of the reason as to why we prefer it over the other 3, because they
Yeah.
got a little bit more going on with them. And when you have something like that in your, like, under your control, if you're playing a wizard with summon elemental, it's nicer to have a summon that's extremely simple to go along with that wizard that's overly complicated.
Yeah.
But
Or the
even
druid.
still, yeah. Even still, it's only a Billy Mays. The fire,
yeah,
water, and air would probably be a split between Phil Swift and Robert Downey Jr., depending on the ones. But preferences are preferences.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the simplicity that makes me like it, and the simplicity that makes it kind of bleh.
Here is one construct that I find will be cooler than the Clockwork Oaken Bolter.
What would that be?
The Flesh Golem. Because it is technically a construct.
It is a construct. Yes.
I didn't think about that until I just flipped over to its page. It is immune to lightning and poison with an armor class of 9. So it's going to be easy to hit. But it's got 93 health. So it's got plenty of health to work through.
Yeah.
Movement speed of 30 feet. Immune to lightning and poisoned, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks that are adamantine.
That's where
Yeah. Immune to charmed, exhaustion, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, and poisoned. Dark vision of 60 feet and passive perception of 10. Understands the languages of its creator but can't speak. It's pretty much Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
Slow, not overly intelligent, but once he gets his hands on you, you're done for.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this guy has a lot going for him, so it's going to take a little bit to cover him. Berserk. When the golem starts its turn with 40 hit points or fewer, roll a d6. On a 6, the golem goes berserk. On each of its turns while berserk, the golem attacks the nearest creature it can see. If no creature is near enough to move to an attack, the golem attacks an object with preference for an object smaller than itself. Once the golem goes berserk, it continues to do so until it is destroyed or regains all of its hit points. Not until it regains some, until it regains all of its hit points. The golem's creator, if within 60 feet of the berserk golem, can try to calm it by speaking firmly and persuasively. The golem must be able to hear its creator, who must take an action to make a DC 15 persuasion check. If the check succeeds, the golem ceases being berserk. If it takes damage while still at 40 hit points or fewer, the golem might go berserk again.
This is the whole sun's going down big guy from Black Widow and Hulk.
Yeah. I mean, technically, yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Well, here's my point of it pretty much being D&D's Frankenstein monster. Aversion to fire. If the golem takes fire damage, it has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the start of its next turn. Immutable form. The golem is immune to any spell or effect that would alter its form. That's actually kind of cool because it can't be targeted by a polymorph.
Yeah, you can't polymorph it.
Lightning absorption. Whenever the golem is subjected to lightning damage, it takes no damage and instead regains a number of hit points equal to the lightning damage dealt. Oh boy, could you imagine not knowing that and you have your Tempest Domain Cleric cast Call Lightning or your Wizard cast Lightning Bolt. And then within one round, it's regained 60 health.
Imagine a Tempest Cleric going ham on this thing, and its health just keeps going up.
And using what is it? The destructive wrath? Is that the ability?
Tempest Wrath?
Is it
I
Tempest?
think it's Tempest Wrath.
Tempestuous wrath, something like that, to where it automatically maxes the damage that's taken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and good news, it has magic resistance.
Of course.
It just needed magic resistance. So after all that. Oh, and good news, the golem's weapon attacks are considered magical.
Well, darn.
Dr. Frankenstein started carving up some really magical people is what happened.
No, Dr. Frankenstein is Artificer.
Well, yeah. This is just one of his infused items.
Yes. He's just infused his fists.
And it makes 2 slam attacks. It's that simple. 2d8 plus 4 with a plus 7 to hit. That's it. That's all it actually does. It's just all this other stuff as a passive.
Yes, the
adds to
attacks
it.
are simple. It's just it's not going to be hit.
It's
very
got
easy.
so much going on for it.
Yes, it does.
And because of that, I think it's a Robert Downey Jr.
I would have to agree with you.
At number 9, I think this is one of the coolest on the list. Not because of its attacks and not because of what it is, just what's going on in the background for it makes it that cool.
And the uncontrollability of its berserk too.
Yeah, because if it is in a bigger fight and it actually has like allies,
Mhm.
it'll just start attacking its own people.
Yep.
Next up, we have the Gorgon. This is the giant iron bull.
Yeah.
19 armor class with 114 health, or you can take the max of 12d10 plus 48, so 168 health, and a movement speed of 40. Has a perception of plus 4. It is immune to petrified. Has a dark vision of 60 feet, and a passive perception of 14. Trampling charge. If the Gorgon moves at least 20 feet straight toward a creature and then hits it with a gore attack on the same turn, that creature must succeed on a DC 16 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. If the target is prone, the Gorgon can make one attack with its hooves against it as a bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
So the gore is plus 8 to hit, 2d12 plus 5 piercing damage. Hooves, plus 8 to hit, 2d10 plus 5 bludgeoning damage. That is terrifying.
Not as terrifying.
Because it's a large monstrosity. It's this
Mm-hmm.
is a Ford Expedition running at you full tilt, knocking you on the ground, and then parking on top of you.
Yeah, I can see that.
While doing 2d12 and 2d10 plus 10.
Oh, it's got them mud grivers on it.
So it's got the potential for 54 damage.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
Oh, we're not done yet though, bud. It's got
Yeah.
a petrifying breath
Yeah, I've been on
on
the
a
other end
recharge
of
of
that.
5 to 6. Yeah. The Gorgon exhales petrifying gas in a 30-foot cone, and that's a big cone.
That is a big cone.
Each creature in the area must succeed on a DC 13 Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, a target begins to turn to stone and is restrained. The restrained target must repeat the saving throw at the end of its next turn. On a success, the effect ends on the target. On a failure, the target is petrified until freed by the Greater Restoration spell or other magic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've been on the other side of that.
Yeah, because didn't you run into a couple of Gorgons in my game and
Yes.
some people got turned to stone?
Yes. But
Yeah.
I did come back with a trophy. I wore its head as a helmet from then on.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
It was a heck of a helmet, too.
It was.
Well, sir, my good old My good old Bestiary app is showing me an ad for a game in which I should play a bum. Mr. Billion, Idle Rich Tycoon. I hate those types of games.
I do too.
But we're moving on now to my absolute favorite.
We didn't rank the Gorgon.
Do we have to?
I mean, that's the whole premise of this series is
Well, see,
celebrity ranking.
I don't want people to know that I actually secretly really like the Gorgon. Okay? Because
like
to
it
me, the Gorgon is a Robert Downey Jr., while most people would probably put it around Topher Grace because there's actually nothing special about it.
Nah, I give it Phil Swift.
This is a giant metal bull.
And that's it.
Yeah, it's a giant metal bull who gores you and hooves you and then goes and you get petrified.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's not like it's not overly complicated. It's just cool. My favorite on the list,
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
the Night Hag.
Yeah.
This was the leader of the Hag Coven that you guys fought in my game at 5th level.
Yep.
This is the Hag Coven that you wiped the floor with at 5th level because I had some really bad rolls and you guys were on top of your game.
One of the actual nights that we rolled good.
Yeah. And it just looks menacing as can possibly be.
It is disgusting. But it makes sense for a hag.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look as nasty as like an Anist hag or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
But the Night Hag is just like, when I think of a hag, I think of either Green Hag or Night Hag.
Yeah.
And depending on how scary I want to go, if I want to be real scary, I go Night Hag. So an armor class of 17 with 112 health, or you can do the max of 15 D8 plus 45. And if you'll give me a few seconds, that'll be 135 max health. It takes me a minute the later it gets. With a movement speed of 30 feet. Plus 7 to deception, plus 6 to insight, plus 6 to perception, and a plus 6 to stealth. Resistant to cold, fire, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks that aren't silvered, and is immune to charmed. Has dark vision of 120 feet, a passive perception of 16. Understands and speaks abyssal, common, infernal, and primordial. So it is a CR5, but when it's part of a coven, it is a CR7. You know, we've already covered the pretty much what a hag coven is when we did the hag coven for the sea hag.
Yeah.
And the spells don't change.
No, they're all.
It's the same for sea hag all the way up to the night hag, because they can technically be a part of a coven together.
Yeah.
It has magic resistance.
Of course it does.
I think every hag does.
Yeah, I think so.
Night hag items. Oh boy. A night hag carries 2 very rare magic items that she must craft for herself. If either object is lost, the night hag will go to great lengths to retrieve it, as creating a new tool takes time and effort. The Heartstone. This lustrous black gem allows a night hag to become ethereal while it is in her possession. The touch of a Heartstone also cures any disease. Any disease. So, crafting a heart. Wow, no wonder she gets so pissed off. Yeah. Crafting a Heartstone takes 30 days. Could you imagine it falling out of your pocket and you're just like, oh no. Where did it go? It's going to take me another month. It's going to take her another month to make another Heartstone.
Yeah, it cures any disease. It's going to take a while to create something like that.
That and she becomes ethereal anytime she wants.
Yeah.
Soul bag. With soul bag. Honey, can you hand me the Ziploc? I need to put supper up. Here, have the soul bag. Oh no.
Keeps it fresh.
When an evil humanoid dies as a result of a night hag's nightmare haunting, which we'll cover in a little bit, the hag catches the soul in its black sack made of stitched flesh. A soul bag can only hold one evil soul at a time, and only the night hag who crafted the bag can catch a soul with it. Crafting a soul bag takes 7 days and a humanoid sacrifice, whose flesh is used to make the new bag. This chick is weird, dude. Like, this is just straight up weird.
She's that chick your mom warned you about back in high school.
Oh boy. I can hear my mom saying now, you be careful of those women that are trying to keep you, that are trying to lure you into closets so they can turn you into sacrifice you to darker power so they can make a soul bag from your skin. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Don't worry about the ones that'll take a kidney. Worry about the ones that'll skin you.
Don't make
and
me
make
into
you
a shopping
bag.
sack.
Well, this is a duffel bag.
Oh, what if she was in modern day and she used it as her carry-on?
Oh, it's a fugly carry-on.
I could see Liam Neeson or no, what Leslie Nielsen in Airplane Now. What is that absolute stench?
Hey, don't call me Shirley.
Oh wow. It's also got innate spell casting. It's a DC 14 spell save with a +6 to hit, and she knows detect magic missile at will with plane shift, self only, ray of enfeeblement, and sleep twice per day.
One thing that it's missing is counterspell.
Yeah, it is kind of missing counterspell, isn't it?
This would be the one thing you would think would have counterspell.
I mean, whenever I was running mine, I kind of gave them counterspell.
Yeah, I know, and you was being a big a-hole about it.
I counterspelled everything with a smile on my face. Thank
Yes,
you.
did.
I was nice as I could be about it.
Passive aggressive.
It was like that Ketherick scene. Try again.
Oh yeah.
Its actions: claws in hag form only. +7 to hit, 5 foot reach, 2d8 +4 slashing damage. Change shape. The hag magically polymorphs into a small or medium female humanoid, or back into her true form. Her
That's how she
statistics.
gets the soul bag.
That is
She
how she gets the
lures
soul
them back
bag.
to her house in the female form.
And then she looks at him and says,
Look over here, Sonny.
she brings them back to the green hag, who's so ugly they die.
Oh, Lord.
Her statistics are the same in each form. Any equipment she is wearing or carrying isn't transformed. She reverts to her true form if she dies. Etherealness. The hag magically enters the ethereal plane from the material plane or vice versa. To do so, the hag must have a heart stone in her possession, and if she loses it, oh boy, don't go knocking on her door. She'll make a new soul bag. Nightmare haunting 1 time per day. While on the ethereal plane, the hag magically touches a sleeping humanoid on the material plane. A protection from evil and good spell cast on the target prevents this contact, as does a magic circle. As soon as the contact persists, the target has dreadful visions. If the visions last for at least 1 hour, the target gains no benefit from its rest, and its hit point maximum is reduced by 1d10.
Mm.
If this effect reduces the target's hit point maximum to 0, the creature dies. And if the target was evil, its soul is trapped in the hag's soul bag. The reduction to the target's hit point maximum lasts until removed by the Greater Restoration spell or similar magic. That is serious.
Yeah.
Specifically at lower levels, because 1d10 is a lot of health to lose at 7th level and lower.
Especially when you're not getting the effects of arrest.
Yeah. Because you just got done with the Gorgon and you're at 15 health. Now you haven't gotten a rest and you lost 7 health.
Yeah.
So you're going out throughout the rest of this day at 8 health. That's it. You better hope you have healing potions or a cleric who really likes you.
Yeah.
The Night Hag, now I will say Soul Bag really isn't that funny, but what doesn't help it is my southern drawl, because now it's Soul Bag.
That's so bad.
Soul Bag. The Night Hag is absolutely Sven Vinky. It
For
is
you,
a number
maybe.
10.
For
It
you.
is a 10. There is not a hag in this game that isn't a 10, because they are so much fun to run as a dungeon master.
Yeah.
You're just mad because you kicked the crap out of them.
I just don't like them.
Did you like them? Did you mind them before you played in my game?
I could stand them better, yes.
Okay. Me and Jeremiah ruined hags for you because they were the BBE. They were the end
And
game in his game
zombies.
too.
And
Oh yeah, that was all
gas.
him. Yeah, that was all him.
Yeah.
Next up, we have
Personally,
two.
aside, I would have to give this to John Cena.
Well, luckily for you, we all know that you're wrong, and that it is the coolest thing on the list right now, outside of maybe the. Yeah, so far it's pretty much the coolest on the list.
I mean, I've been known to be wrong a time or two, but not now.
Okay, bud. Okay. I'll have what you're smoking.
Nothing yet.
Now, we technically have two, but to save on time, because we're nearly coming up onto an hour and a half already, I'm going to choose one. Would you rather cover the crystal or deep?
I think I like
One's
the crystal better.
all right. The young crystal dragon. 15 health, 95 hit points, or 10d10 plus 40, with a movement speed of 40 walking, 80 flying, 40 climbing, and a burrow of 20. Mobile as can possibly be.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's
Plus
a
4 to
dragon.
dex saving throws, plus 7 constitution, plus 5 to wisdom, plus 6 to charisma, plus 8 to perception, plus 7 to stealth, plus 5 to survival, and is resistant to cold and radiant. A blind sight of 30 feet with dark vision range of 120, with a passive perception of 18. It's going to be very difficult to get past this guy.
Yeah.
Understands draconic, common, and telepathy of 120 feet, and because it's a dragon, it can talk back. Also has innate spellcasting of what kind? Psionics.
Mm-hmm.
The spell save DC is 16. At will, it knows dancing lights and guidance, and one time a day each, hypnotic pattern and lesser restoration. This is the young dragon that you want to go and recruit.
Yeah.
Around level 10.
Yeah.
This, you're like, hey, man, I know that, us and dragons aren't technically supposed to be getting along, but you're a cool guy, and we would really appreciate your help with what we have coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So how about be a bro? Multi-attack. The dragon makes 1 bite attack and 2 claw attacks. The bite attack is plus 6 to hit, 2d10 plus 3 piercing, plus 1d8 radiant damage from the bite.
Yes.
That's awesome. This is like a holy dragon.
Yeah, it's your cleric dragon.
Oh, dude, I found my new favorite dragon.
Your cleric rides into battle on a
Yes.
young crystal dragon.
No, an adult.
Oh,
An adult crystal dragon carrying a war domain cleric.
I could see that.
The claw +6 to hit, 5-foot reach, 1d6 +3. Scintillating breath. Recharge of 5 to 6. The dragon exhales a burst of brilliant radiance in a 30-foot cone. Each creature in the area must make a DC 15 Constitution saving throw, taking 6d8 radiant damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. The dragon then gains 10 temporary hit points by absorbing a portion of the radiant energy.
Yep.
Absolutely, from top to bottom, a fantastic CR5 creature.
Oh yeah. I mean, look at the
there's
attacks.
nothing wrong with it.
You're taking 2d10 plus 3 plus a d8 plus a 2d6 plus 6.
But here's the thing: even if you were to run into this thing at 7th level, four people in the party, this is not too much for your party to actually sit there and have a decent fight with.
Oh,
If you're
be a
trying
good
to
fight.
recruit it,
Yeah.
say if it's one of these things you're trying to recruit and it says, "Test your might, fight me, and I will join you if you nearly defeat me." This is something that you can do with 4 people around, I'd say, 8th to 10th level. Kind of easy, but not very.
No. Because it's got the walking speed, the burrow speed, the climb, and the fly.
Exactly.
It is mobile AF.
This is Sven. It is
Oh,
the
definitely.
second and only other number 10 on this list for good reason. And I will say it. It is the coolest on the list.
Yes, definitely.
It blows the Night Hag out of the water
Oh, that was easy.
and knocks the Night Hag down to a Robert Downey Jr.
Nah. Knocks
Oh,
it
yeah.
down to a Danny Masterson.
Okay, wait up now. No, Night Hag ain't that bad.
That's stemming from personal feelings.
Yeah, fair. I think that's going to be stemming from a lot of people's personal feelings for the next little while.
Probably.
But that's our list. And we hope you enjoyed. Whether you agree or disagree with our ranking systems really doesn't matter because we don't care.
Yeah, it's our ranking system. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, none of this is serious. I mean,
No.
don't take anything we say seriously. But the rankings for us specifically are serious. Like this young crystal dragon is
oh yes.
absolutely, like I said, top to bottom, an A tier an A tier creature to put into your game or to run into in another game. It is
Yeah.
an absolutely fantastic creature. Now, ad plug. We are still waiting on submissions for the Power Gaming Tournament. We have 4 so far, and those submissions will be open until October 21st. I'll give you a quick run through of the guidelines before we go. Max level of 12. Any race, any class that is published, along with subclass, multi-classing allowed, including the Blood Hunter. Standard array for stats. Starting equipment for your equipment with 1 magic item of rare quality or lower. And that's pretty much everything.
I will have to say that last submission we got, I like it.
Oh, it's awesome. It's a 3-part multi-class.
It's interesting.
And I was talking to the guy that submitted it, and I said, what kind of voice would you expect this guy to have with the fact that we're going to be doing a dramatic retelling with voice acting? He said, I think he's going to be German. I said,
God.
Bud with my, he said, his exact words were, not Nazi levels, but like German. And I said, okay, I got a thick Southern drawl. If you ain't never heard the podcast, I'll do my best.
We talking some Oktoberfest German.
Yeah. So here, once again, is the ad for the Power Gaming Tournament. Theoretical Insights of D&D is proud to present the Power Gaming Tournament Part 2.
The finest heroes have been summoned. Only one team will stand tall when the dust settles. Who will bring honor to their family and God in this upcoming war? Submit your characters to theoreticalinsightsofdnd@gmail.com or through the Messenger app. The rules are in the description and on the Facebook page. Good luck, adventurers. May the dice roll in your favor.
Also, still in the upcoming month, towards the end of October, we will be releasing the first episode of The New World, in which me and Eric are actually going to be planning right after recording this.
Yeah, it's been a lot of planning too.
We're going to be giving you a pretty much full story and world build through a multi-part sequence series, whether it's 3 episodes or 15 episodes, and it'll start alternating with this CR list breakdown. And I'll play that ad right now. A light flashes before you, leaving you blinded for a short moment. As your vision returns, you find yourself in a void, empty of matter and sound, floating within the nothingness. Suddenly, you watch as a world is formed before you. Dirt compiles into a shape as caverns are carved, mountains raised, and oceans are filled with water. Civilization takes hold under your watchful eye. Join Theoretical Insights of D&D as we build a world and a story. Welcome to the New World. Well, that's pretty much all we had for you on this episode, and I really hope that you enjoyed it.
Yeah, the CR5 list is huge.
Oh, it is massive. It's really hard to make some good decisions as to what to put on it, because specifically going up in the higher CRs, there are going to be more and more famous monsters in which we know are absolutely awesome that we may have to leave off to give something else to spotlight.
There's one that we could have added, the unicorn, but it's a unicorn. Everybody knows the unicorn.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, it's a lot of times in games that I've seen, it's often used as a way, as a means to an end.
Yeah.
Instead of an actual creature.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, you need the horn of a unicorn to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just go hammer a unicorn in the face.
Yeah, we've done that.
Yeah. But in between these episodes, keep rolling high, keep living life, and we'll see you in the next one.